Just wondering, where are all those single guys at?
Do you ever just sit there and think, I'm going to be single for the rest of my life? I feel like people will tell you exactly what you want to hear to get what they want out of you, and then they'll disappear.
My ex-husband, who was my high school sweetheart, he was a great guy. He would give you the shirt off of his back, because he knew that his family had also struggled, and he didn't like that other people did either. Like, he just didn't want that for anybody. Unfortunately, I had to leave.
Welcome back, family. Today's episode is going to be one of the most important videos in a man's life, because you are going to learn the following lesson. As a man, nobody will come to save you when things get tough. We are going to review this modern woman who decided to divorce her husband when he was going through a very difficult time, and then regrets her decision later on after the dating scene completely humbles her. Unfortunately, her ex-husband passed shortly after the divorce. Let's start by watching her claiming that she still misses her late ex-husband. Now, I personally don't believe that she really misses her late ex-husband. I just think that she is using his name for financial gain. Because if she really cared about him, she wouldn't have left him and take away his son when he needed them the most. Let's watch.
Hey guys, this morning I wanted to reach out and kind of give a message of support and understanding for those of us who have lost someone significant in our lives. And I believe that around the holidays, it's always harder to deal with the loss of someone who made a huge impact on your life. And unfortunately, I've lost quite a few people in the last 6 years. So, which means my son also did. And if you've followed my videos for a while, or even gone back and watched some of the first videos, you know that my son lost his dad at the age of 9. And I kind of just would randomly put notes in my phone about, what he was going through, especially that first year being without his dad. As having, being a single mom, having a young man to raise, I was concerned. I thought, oh my gosh, no matter how good of a mom I can try to be, I'll never be his dad. And, I loved his dad so much, but we were divorced whenever he passed away. There were a lot of circumstances that caused that, but we were together for 15 years and we were friends before that. And so he had been a part of my life for 20 years. And no matter what we had gone through, I would never wish for him to pass. And it was not something, obviously, that I would want my child to have to grow up without his dad. I never wanted that. But because that situation happened, it was really important to me that my son get counseling and therapy, because I always wanted him to know that even if he couldn't come to me, that he had some outlet, someone to go to if he was angry or sad or happy. Whatever emotion he was feeling, I wanted him to be able to express that feeling and find, comfort in knowing that, yes, it is a tragic thing that happened, but he can survive this. And so my son, did this counseling. I was worried about how I could help him progress in life, and be the best that he could be given this type of trauma. So I then myself sought out counseling at about 6 months, because I realized I was dealing with a lot of anger issues. Again, I cared for his dad a lot, but we separate ourselves so I could provide a positive home for my son. And so I got counseling because I wanted to be able to deal with my issues and not project my feelings of the situation onto my son. My son did not ask for this life. He didn't ask for us to be his parents, but God instilled him to me, and it's my job to make sure that he has the best life possible. So it was really important that I deal with my own crap so that my son doesn't have to deal with my stuff. So fast forward, one day my son was, looking on my phone, and he saw my notes, and he said, "Mom, are you writing a book about me?" And I said, well, I hadn't really thought about it, but I had always wanted to write a book about his dad and the things that he dealt with, because he was a kidney transplant patient, and he had, over 20 surgeries in the time that we were together. So I said, I don't know, how would you feel if it were a book? And he was like, yeah, I think I'd like that. I would like to help someone else like me.
Do not be fooled by her soft talking, because all she is basically trying to do is sell her book by using her late husband and son's story for financial gain. You heard it for yourself. Her ex-husband was a kidney transplant patient who had over 20 surgeries during their marriage. So this guy had a pretty rough life. But you also heard her saying that he was a great man and he was always ready to break his back to make sure that everyone around him is taken care of, including her. And we all know that women don't just give props to their exes unless they were very exceptional and outstanding men. But the thanks he got was getting divorced and have his boy taken away from him. This woman said it herself that she knew that she had a lot of anger issues and that she had to get therapy so that her son wouldn't have to deal with her trauma. With that being said, we can only imagine what her ex-husband had to endure during this marriage, and at the end, he got everything taken away from him and left with nothing. I am pretty sure that he was so invested in his wife and kids' lives that the divorce literally pushed him to give up on life. This is the very important and painful message I wanted you to get from this whole episode. As a man, you are only value as much as you are useful. Now that the important message has been communicated, we can move on to the fun part of the video. After divorcing her late ex-husband thinking that she could find better, this woman got pumped and dumped and ghosted so many times to the point of admitting that she might remain single for the rest of her life. Check it out.
Do you ever just sit there and think, I'm going to be single for the rest of my life? I'm trying to laugh about it these days, but in all honesty, I just don't go out that often to meet people. So unless I meet someone at one of my son's games or just out and about, I don't even go grocery shopping. I just pick out the stuff I want online and then go and pick it up. But it's so hard. And then I feel like people, and this is men and women, will tell you exactly what you want to hear to get what they want out of you, and then they'll disappear. So it's like you can't really tell someone what you're looking for, because they will pretend to be that person for X amount of time, and then all of a sudden one day you realize that they were never that person. It was all a joke, or they just wanted to see if they could hook you. And I'm just someone that I put my heart out there, and I have a hard time dating multiple people at the same time. So unfortunately, I put all my eggs in one basket, and then it's oh, that was a mistake. And I've tried to date different ages, different backgrounds, But then I still feel like there's just some things that you can't compromise on because then you're settling. So I don't want to do that either. And I don't want to say that I never want to date again, but at the same time, it makes it really difficult to want to date because you feel like you can't trust anyone. So I don't know. And at this point in my life, like, I feel like you set these boundaries of like, if they do this, it's an automatic no. And what I used to think was boring, I kind of find relaxing now. So I'm okay with just sitting at home and not going out on a Friday night. It's more peaceful that way. What about you?
We do not care about what you do with your life because we have no sympathy for women like you who decide to break their families and hurting everyone in the process just to go back in the streets to chase after Chad and Tyrone. Guys, karma hits this woman with no mercy as she continuously tries so hard to advertise herself with absolutely no success.
Just wondering, where are all those single guys at? Anywhere from age like 28 to 50. Kind of like them young. Maybe I'm a cougar. Kind of like them as a silver fox. Who knows?
People in the comments section started to hold her accountable by saying that she is only interested in the top-tier men, and that is why she can't find a man to commit to her. Then she tried to respond to one of those comments by bringing up her late ex-husband again.
I'm going to respond to this comment because it kind of rubs me the wrong way. I have dated guys, all different shapes and sizes, all different backgrounds. My ex-husband, who was my high school sweetheart, came from a very low-income family. Like, they didn't have a lot. He had a single mom. He had siblings, and there were already, grandkids that she was helping raise. He was a great guy. He would give you the shirt off of his back, because he knew that his family had also struggled, and he didn't like that other people did either. Like, he just didn't want that for anybody. Unfortunately, I had to leave. I did not get married to get divorced, and I don't think that most people do. So saying something like that is kind of immature. Most of the guys that I've dated are not like extremely wealthy. I have talked to some guys that were business owners, entrepreneurs, or just had very nice high income jobs. And some were awesome guys, some were jerks. So it just is what it is.
Ma'am, your late ex-husband was a stand-up guy who supported you, and you thanked him by divorcing him and taking away his son. So that says a lot about your character. Guys, the world doesn't owe you understanding. You have to keep in mind that there is no safety net for you as a man. If you fail, no one will come to save you. That is why you always have to keep your head up, focus on your goals, and everything else will follow. I love you and I appreciate you for all your support. Please feel free to like, subscribe, comment, and share to help push this content to more men in need. I'm out. Peace.